Stop. That whisper, that still, unbreakable voice is your other self. It doesn't negotiate with fear, doesn't flinch at failure, and doesn't need applause. It knows what you're capable of, even when you've forgotten. Most people silence it. They drown it in doubt, in comfort, in the noise of a world that says, be realistic. But realism is the cage of the average, and you weren't born to be average. The moment you start listening, truly listening to that voice, everything changes. The world stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that happens through you. You begin to act without hesitation. You speak with conviction. You move with certainty, because the power that once slept inside you is now wide awake, and it doesn't ask for permission. That's your other self. And once you meet it, you'll never go back. And that, my friend, is the quiet tragedy that frets, chains millions. Not poverty of the pocket, but poverty of the spirit. You see, the world will forgive almost anything except strength. It will cheer your struggle, pity your pain. But the moment you rise, truly rise, and take command of your destiny, it grows uneasy. Why? Because your courage exposes their excuses. Fear is clever. It dresses itself in reason, in safety, in someday. It tells you to wait until conditions are right, until you're ready, until you've learned a little more. But the truth is brutal. You'll never feel ready. Readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. The moment you say, enough, I will not be ruled by fear another hour, you awaken your other self, that force that never bows, never doubts, never delays. It is faith on fire. And once it takes the wheel, everything changes. Obstacles shrink. Failure becomes fuel. Setbacks turn into stepping stones, because your other self doesn't ask, what if I lose? It asks, what if I win? That's the turning point. The instant you trade hesitation for conviction. The instant you stop waiting for the world to open doors and kick them open yourself. Perfect, you've built the emotional peak. Now the natural next step is activation, showing exactly how to call forth the other self. Here's how that section could continue, in the same voice and rhythm, carrying your manifesto into its awakening phase. How to set it free. You don't find your other self by waiting, you ignite it. It's not born in comfort. It's born in decision. You call it forth every time you act in the face of fear. Every time you choose faith over doubt, purpose over comfort, motion over paralysis, you feed it. Start with one simple vow. I will not wait another day. Then act immediately. Send the letter. Make the call. Take the step you've delayed for months. Action is the signal fire that wakes your other self. Next, speak to it daily, not in hope, but in command. Say, I am the master of my mind. I am the maker of my fate. Repeat it until your spirit believes it more than your fear does. Words are the sculptor of self. Each one carves new strength into your soul. Then feed it with vision. See yourself as the man or woman you are becoming, bold, decisive, unbreakable. Hold that picture until it burns into your being. Your other self lives in that vision. And finally, guard your circle. Stay near those who fan your faith, not those who feed your fear. Energy is contagious. Choose your company as you choose your future, because here's the eternal law. What you believe, you become. What you act upon, you create. And what you persist in, you inevitably achieve. When those truths take root, fear loses its throne, and your other self, long waiting in silence, rises, hot. That's when the world takes notice, not of your words, but of your will. And that brings us to the final turning point. Step 5, persist until you break through. The last step is the hardest and the most vital. Persistence is faith in motion, the stubborn refusal to quit when results delay, when doors stay shut, when the world grows cold. Every master, every titan, every builder of destiny has walked through that valley. When I faced rejection after rejection, when months turned to years and my dream seemed a foolish fancy, my other self whispered, keep going. The finish line is one step beyond the point where most men stop. And it was right. Persistence does not mean blind struggle. It means deliberate endurance. It means learning from every blow, adjusting your aim, and pressing forward again and again until the world yields. You cannot lose if you refuse to stop, because every failure carries a seed of equal or greater gain, a truth most never stay long enough to see bloom. But you will. The awakening. When you face crisis with calm, choose faith over fear, define a purpose that burns, act boldly in the face of doubt, and persist until victory your other self awakens. Not as a burst of lightning, but as a steady flame, a power that grows with every act of courage, every choice of conviction. It will speak to you in the quiet hours, guiding your thoughts, sharpening your will. And soon the line between who you were and who you are will vanish. You look in the mirror and realize the force you sought all along was never beyond you. It was you. The timid self will fade. The other self, bold, calm, unyielding, will take its rightful place at the helm. And from that day forward, you will not drift. You will command to meet criticism with calm, failure with curiosity, and chaos with composure. That's when I knew my other self was no longer a visitor. It had taken command. The unshakable state. When your other self rules, life no longer feels like a battle. It feels like a dance. You move through challenge without panic, through success without arrogance. You act with purpose, not reaction. Your mind becomes still, but your will becomes unstoppable. No insult can wound you. No setback can halt you. No praise can sway you, because your center of power is no longer out there. It's within. I learned this not in comfort, but in struggle. The days I thought I'd lost everything were the days I was being remade. Each disappointment stripped away weakness. Each hardship revealed strength. Pain became my teacher. Discipline became my friend. And in that fire, my other self was forged. You can feel that same transformation, my friend. It begins the moment you decide that nothing external, not money, not opinion, not misfortune, holds power over your spirit. From that moment on, you cease to chase power, because you are power. Your calm becomes your crown. Your purpose becomes your compass. Your faith becomes your fortress. That's what it means to live from your other self. And now it's your turn to listen for that voice, the same one that spoke to me in that cold, dim schoolhouse a century ago. It's whispering, still, inside you, waiting for your command. The voice of the other self, I have been here all along. I am the strength behind your trembling hand, the calm beneath your storm, the faith that will not die even when you falter. You've called me by many names, luck, courage, instinct, but I am none of those. I am you when you finally stop running from yourself. I rise when you decide to act. I grow when you choose discipline over doubt. I shine brightest when the night is darkest. You were never weak, only asleep. Awaken now. Walk through fear as if it were mist. Speak your vision into the air until the world bends to it. Live as if failure were impossible, because for the one who has found me, it is. I am your other self, calm, unbreakable, unyielding, and I am ready. That's the moment of awakening, where the man or woman who has faced the storm finally meets the self who can command it. When you reach that place, life no longer feels uncertain, because you have become certainty itself. So go now, my friend. Face your trials. Act in faith. Hold fast to purpose. Serve with gratitude. Do this daily, and your other self will not just awaken. It will reign as breathing. Because once your other self takes the reins, it never lets go. The life unshaken, you rise before the world stirs, driven not by alarm clocks, but by purpose. You work when others rest, not from fear of loss, but from love of creation. Discipline becomes your rhythm, steady, deliberate, relentless. Every act, every word, every thought is aligned with your purpose. You no longer chase success, you attract it, because you've become the kind of person success seeks. Insults slide off you like rain on steel. Failure becomes a lesson, not a verdict. Doubt knocks, but finds no door. That's the calm. Your other self brings a stillness at the center of the storm. You walk through noise untouched, through chaos undisturbed, because your mind has become a fortress and your faith its flame. I learned this in the fire and the years of want, in the silence of nights filled with questions, in the clear days when the world seemed deaf to my work. But faith, fed daily, grows unbreakable. And when it does, nothing outside can shake the peace within. The final lesson greatness isn't found in grand moments. It's forged in small, invisible choices, the choice to rise when weary, to persist when discouraged, to give when it's easier to take. Your other self lives in those moments. It's not a spirit apart from you. It is you, stripped of fear and fortified by faith. You've felt it stir before, in the times you refused to quit, in the quiet voice that said, keep going, when everything screamed, stop. That voice is waiting still, waiting for your decision to lead, to believe, to act. And when you do, when you claim your purpose, walk in faith, act boldly, and endure without complaint, your other self won't just awaken. It will rise, unshakable, calm, certain, free. That's an excellent culmination. You've captured the full arc of transformation. Crisis, faith, purpose, disciplined action, resilience, transcendence. Here's your text polished slightly for rhythm, flow, and clarity, keeping your original tone, cadence, and authenticity intact. It now reads like the closing speech of a cinematic manifesto of awakening, powerful, commanding, and complete. The other self manifesto, the awakening. Even if fear clutches at you, your other self will guide your hand. Success isn't for those who wait, it's for those who move, who build the habit of discipline and strike when the iron's hot. Step 5, build resilience. Setbacks aren't defeat, they're the seed of triumph. Lincoln lost election after election. I abandoned ventures that could have made me rich, yet I rose. Every fall carries a lesson. Every hardship, a strength. Don't ask why me, ask what. Does this teach me? Your other self turns every stumble into a comeback, forging an unshakable spirit. I walked through fear and poverty to find my path. You can walk through yours to find greatness. These steps aren't mere words. They're the chisel I use to carve my fate, drawn from the truths I learned studying the successful and the fallen alike. Reject softness. Master your mind. Become the person success itself seeks. Your other self waits, awaken it, and nothing will stand in your way. Once your other self takes command, my friend, you don't just awaken it. You live it day by day until it becomes as natural as breathing. I've walked this path, and I'll show you how it feels to stand unshaken, to build a life of power and peace. The unshakable life first. You become unshakable when your other self rules. Nothing sways you. Insults fall like leaves in the wind. I learned. This, hiding from fear in 1926, mastering silence over panic, turning failure into lesson, turning poverty in 1923 into the seed of my philosophy. I faced the depression storms while others crumbled my faith a steady flame. You too can walk through life's chaos calm and untouched, a presence that commands respect without a word. Every jab, every slight, let it pass. Your mind is your fortress. Next comes discipline, the backbone of your days. Your other self doesn't drift on whims. It builds with purpose. I wrote my manuscripts through nights of doubt, rising early, pushing past weariness, because success demands consistency. You've learned this too. Wake when others sleep, act when others hesitate, forge habits that turn dreams into deeds. It's not bursts of effort, but steady steps, day after day, that crown you with victory. Finally, find joy in giving, for that's where peace lives. My other self taught me that happiness isn't in hoarding, it's in helping. I found it sharing my work with millions, not chasing gold. Take stock of your blessings, your sound body, your free mind, your chance to lift others and give thanks. In 1927, broke but bold, I saw my fortune in what I could offer. Live this way, and your other self grows stronger, a light no shadow can dim. The call to rise. So here we stand, my friend, at the end of this journey, but the beginning of yours. Your other self is no mystery. It's your faith, your resilience, your purpose forged in the fire of crisis and steeled by daily choice. I found mine on a bleak Christmas Eve in 1923, broke but unbroken, pacing that lonely schoolhouse until it spoke. It has carried me through fear, doubt, and want, and made me unshakable. Now it's your turn. Face your testing time. Choose faith over fear. Act boldly with a purpose that burns within you and live it every day. Disciplined, calm, giving. That's the path I've laid before you, tested by my life, proven by truth. Your only limit is the one you accept. Cast it off. So I ask you now, where will you find your other self? Don't wait for past life to force your hand. Seize this moment. Tonight, write one goal clear and bold. Tomorrow, take one step, no matter how small. Watch my next message, for I have more to reveal. Subscribe to this journey, for together we will unlock greater truths. Your other self awaits. Let it guide you to greatness. Begin today